Some narcissistic mothers don't scream. They don't insult you directly. They sound calm, loving, even caring. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Listen carefully. This isn't just a phone call. It's how a narcissistic mother controls her daughter. Does this feel familiar?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, sweetheart. I was just thinking about you.
Everything okay?
Of course, I just miss you. You never call me anymore.
You might be having these calls with your mother all the time, without even realizing you're being manipulated by a narcissist. At first, it sounds like love. But listen carefully.
I've just been busy with work.
I guess I'm just not that important anymore.
That's not true.
This is called guilt tripping. The narcissistic parent makes you feel responsible for their emotions. Guilt tripping doesn't sound aggressive. It sounds like disappointment. You're not being asked. You're being emotionally pressured. Notice how quickly the conversation turns into your responsibility. This isn't love. It's control disguised as guilt.
You know, when I was your age, I always made time for my mother.
I do try.
Do you? Because it doesn't feel like it.
Notice the shift. What started as a loving call is slowly turning into criticism. It doesn't happen suddenly. It slips in disguised as concern. The tone changes first. Then come the subtle remarks. And before you even realize it, you're being judged. Not for what you did, but for who you are. This is how criticism hides in plain sight and slowly breaks you down.
Your cousin calls her mother every single day.
Mom, that's different.
Of course it is. She actually cares.
Comparison is a classic narcissistic tactic. It creates insecurity and a constant feeling of not being enough. But that's exactly the point. Because when you feel not good enough, you start trying harder. You seek approval. You over-explain. You overgive. And slowly, without noticing, your worth becomes dependent on their validation. They don't need to control you directly anymore. You start controlling yourself. You question your choices, your reactions, even your own reality. And no matter what you do, it never feels like enough. Because the standard keeps changing. That's how the cycle works.
I can't even express my feelings without you attacking me.
I'm not attacking you.
You always do this. You make me feel like I'm the bad one.
Now the roles are reversed. The manipulator becomes the victim. Suddenly, you're the one who's done something wrong. You're not defending yourself anymore. You're apologizing. Not because you understand what you did, but because you feel guilty. The focus shifts away from their behavior and lands entirely on you. And just like that, your feelings disappear from the conversation. This is how manipulation rewrites reality, right in front of you.
Maybe I should just stop calling. I don't want to bother you.
That's not what I said.
No, it's fine. I'll get used to being alone.
This is emotional manipulation. The goal is simple. Make you feel guilty, so you comply. Because guilt is easier to control than truth. You stop asking what's fair and start asking how to fix it. Not to protect yourself, but to keep the peace. And the more you give in, the more is expected from you. Until your needs no longer matter. Only theirs do.
I can call you more often.
That would be nice. See, that wasn't so hard.
And here it is, the moment of control. The narcissist got exactly what they wanted, not through force, but through your emotions. You didn't agree because you wanted to. You agreed to make the discomfort stop, and that's how control becomes invisible. No shouting, no threats, just quiet pressure. Until one day, you don't even realize you had a choice. And that's when control feels like your own decision.
I love you, sweetheart. Bye.
I love you too. Bye, Mom. I'll call you soon.
Just like that, everything sounds normal again. But what just happened wasn't normal. It was a cycle. Guilt to comparison to denial to emotional pressure to control. Narcissistic parents don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper, and the longer it goes unnoticed, the more you start believing it's your fault. But it never was. This is how manipulation works, not through obvious harm, but through subtle repetition. Over time, it reshapes how you think, how you feel, and how you see yourself. What you just witnessed wasn't a random conversation. It was a pattern. A cycle of control built on guilt, criticism, and comparison. And the most dangerous part is how normal it feels. What you're seeing isn't just a single interaction, it's a pattern. And patterns are what make narcissistic behavior so hard to recognize. Because each moment on its own seems small, almost insignificant. A comment here, a comparison there, a little guilt, disguised as love. But when you step back, you start to see the repetition, the same tactics, the same emotional shifts, the same outcome. And that's how patterns work. They train you. They teach you what to say, how to react, what to avoid. Until you're no longer responding freely, you're responding predictably. Not based on what you feel, but on what keeps the peace. And over time, that pattern doesn't just shape the conversation, it shapes you. And the moment you recognize the pattern is the moment you start to break it. This is how manipulation works, not through obvious harm, but through subtle repetition. Over time, it reshapes how you think, how you feel, and how you see yourself. And the longer it goes unnoticed, the more you start believing it's your fault. But it never was.